during a Mariner-Red Sox brawl. Still, Boston put together a 7-game win streak until last night. Unbeaten Aaron Seeley took the mound against Yankee ace Jimmy Key, and 2 hours 13 minutes later, the Red Sox winning streak was history. Today, Boston sends ace Roger Clemens to the mound, and he's showing signs that the true Clemens is back. The Bombers counter with Melido Perez, also a pitcher improving over last year. Perez versus Clemens. The Yankees and the Red Sox are next on MSG Network. From Yankee Stadium in the Bronx, the New York Yankees host the Boston Red Sox. Pitching for the Yankees, Melido Perez. And on the mound for Boston, Roger Clemens. We have a beautiful day in the Bronx, picture perfect for baseball, as one of the oldest rivalries in baseball continues. The Yankees and the Red Sox go at it. Clear blue skies, a light breeze in the ballpark. Hi again, everyone. Welcome to Yankee Stadium. I'm Dwayne Stats. Nice to have you with us as the Yankees move into the second game of this 3-game series against Boston, and for the Yankees, the second game of what will be a 7-game homestand. And what a pitching matchup we have this afternoon. Roger Clemens goes to the mound for Boston. Melido Perez with victories this year over Detroit and Seattle. Since then, losses to the Angels and the A's. He comes in with a record of 2-2. Last night, the Yankees were winners 3-1. They scored all 3 of their runs in the 4th. Darryl Boston helped with this base hit, and later gave support with this catch in center field, helping Jimmy Key go the distance in improving his record to 5-1. Joined now by Tony Kubek. And Tony, last night, Darryl Boston's performance underlines the depth the Yankees have put together on the bench this year.
Dwayne, I think the first thing you've got to have in balancing a ball club in this era of baseball after expansion last year is a general manager, Gene Michael in this case, who understands that it's a 162-game endurance contest. He has given Buck Showalter, who's used these players very well, not just for matchups against pitchers, but depth at every position if somebody goes down. And you've got to play that way in this day and age for the 162-game schedule, I believe, because there are going to be injuries. There are going to be slumps. You know, there are going to be people that get tired. And Buck already has used those players very well, giving key players rests along the way.
And in recent days, the Yankees have made some changes in the bullpen. Sterling Hitchcock is up here. And now Mark Hutton has been added to the bullpen with Jeff Reardon released.
Well, I think we've heard for a number of years as some Yankee prospects come up that they don't have arm strength. What you have now with Hutton, with Sterling Hitchcock, who got his first major league save on the Western swing, with Wickman, 3 young pitchers who might walk some people, but they also have the arm strength to miss bats, strike out people in key situations. You get 7th, 8th, and 9th to get to whomever your closer is. Come in and wipe somebody out. They have that kind of arm strength. That's very important to this team.
So Hutton joins the bullpen. He had been closing games at Columbus. The Yankees and the Red Sox coming up this afternoon on a delightful day in the Bronx, and we'll be back with all the action. The Yankees will have Melido Perez, the Red Sox Roger Clemens. Back with that following this.
Zay, you're out for a beer.
What do you have?
Beer. What if there wasn't any beer?
Sorry, guys. Never heard of it.
Oh, Zima. Zima's good. Zima.
There you go.
What is this? No, just Zima's a unique alcohol beverage. I kind of like it.
Anything else?
Did you get pretzels? What day is this?
With medical inflation sky high, chances are you're ready for a health plan with some down-to-earth solutions. GHI, the good news in healthcare.
Every Neon comes with an advanced single overhead cam 16-valve engine, and its 132 high-tech horses should come in mighty handy when you're trying to coax your car onto a freeway. $89.75 for starters, $12.5 nicely loaded. Say hello to Neon. High speed, low price. Plymouth Neon, now at your Chrysler Plymouth dealer.
New York Yankees baseball is brought to you by Coors Light. Aged ice cold for that pure taste of the Rockies. Reach for the silver bullet, the right beer now. By the AT&T Business Advantage. Let it work for you. And by Nobody Beats the Wiz Home Entertainment Center.
The Yankees start the day with a record of 17 wins and 10 losses. They have an identical record to the Baltimore Orioles, each 2.5 games behind the Boston Red Sox, and Melido Perez will face this Boston lineup presented by 7-Eleven. Lee Tinsley in center, Tim Naring at second with Mike Greenwell in left, Mo Vaught at first, Andre Dawson the DH, and Scott Cooper at third. In right field, Billy Hatcher. Damon Berryhill will do the catching, and Carlos Rodriguez is at shortstop. He'll bat ninth.
Buck Showalter. This defense brought to you by Robert Stock, the designer for the American family. And Dwayne, when you play against Roger Clemens, you expect a low-scoring game. So Buck has really focused on trying to get a very good defensive team. That's why Bernie's back in center field today.
Lee Tinsley back in center field this afternoon for Boston. And the first pitch is high, ball one. Otis Nixon has a little hamstring problem, and that has kept him out. So Tinsley, a late insertion into the lineup today.
Consecutive days where Otis Nixon has been scratched, well, within a half hour of game time.
64 degrees in the Bronx. What a lovely day for baseball. And Melido falls behind Tinsley. 3 balls, no strikes.
And you will hear, as you always do in this rivalry, or as on the other coast, Dodgers against the Giants, a lot of electricity in the crowd, in your background.
And there is ball 4. So Tinsley, who was 0 for 4 last night and entered today's game hitting just 167, draws a walk on 4 pitches from Perez.
Well, does this take Melido's forkball away from him? Tinsley has speed, maybe not like Otis Nixon, but that's one of the improvements this Red Sox team has made. They're on a pretty quick stolen base pace through the month of April.
They're on a pace to steal 100 bases, and that's not something you generally associate with the Boston Red Sox.
Well, they steal about 30 a year ordinarily and get caught about equal number of times.
Here's Tim Naring. He's having a good year.
Look at the lead Tinsley's got. Wow, is he way off? Trying to draw a throw. He hasn't seen much of Perez, so he wants to take that one-way lead, a long lead, leading back to first to draw a couple throws so he or Frank White, the first base coach, might be able to read something.
Melido 5-7 lifetime against the Red Sox. 1-2 in 3 starts a year ago. There's a strike. Mark Johnson will be calling the balls and strikes this afternoon with this umpiring crew. Chuck Merriweather first, Drew Coble at second, and Ted Hendry down at third. A strike the count on Naring. Down to third, and it skips by Boggs and into left toward the corner. Tinsley's hitting third. Gary Allenson will wave him home, and he will score to give Boston a 1-0 lead. Naring stops at second. The ball got into the corner, and Tinsley scores all the way from first.
Yesterday, an error, a ball that went through Cooper's legs at third base, hurt the Red Sox. That was last night. Today, a tough play. Overspin on the ball from Naring. Wade gets eaten up by this ball. It is a very bright day. There are a lot of white shirts with the sun shining. A little slider, I think. And Wade could not play his hop, playing even with a bag. It's in the left field corner.
So the Red Sox, who scored only 1 run last night, already have 1 in this game. And here's Mike Greenwell. Greenwell, after the first pitch, rolls it to short for Velarde, who makes the play, and Naring goes to third.
Boy, could Perez have helped himself right there? I mean, this ball goes almost over the corner of the third base side of the rubber. A little bit farther away than that, but Melido falling off, and because it was hit so slowly off the end of the bat, Velarde could not make a play at third base. But Perez, if he had fielded that ball, he's either got the runner off second or at least holds him there. There's a forkball. Look at Melido. He jumps away from it. No chance for Velarde. So now with Clemens pitching early in the ball game, you're forced to bring your infield halfway, maybe all the way in.
Here's Mo Vaughn. And a shot foul. Look out into the stands down the right side. Vaughn's hitting .359. You're right. Buck Showalter will perhaps manage this game a little differently than he ordinarily would with Roger Clemens pitching for Boston. And that right side of the infield halfway with Gallego at second, Mattingly at first. Left side closer than usual as well with Velarde at short and Boggs over at third.
Tough to do with a slugger like Vaughn up who hits the ball so hard on the ground.
0-2. Vaughn ended a 6-game hitting streak last night. He went 0 for 3. He's been tough.
One thing Perez will do is this is a fork ball. You could see the tumble on the slow-mo with the glare. Vaughn wearing the glasses.
The 0-2. Very close. Popping away from Stanley. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Melido's numbers against left-handed batters have been extraordinary. They're hitting about, what, a little over 180 off him. Right-handers over 300, about 330. You saw how hard Naring hit the ball past Boggs into the corner. That forkball is an equalizer against left-handed bats.
And he strikes out Vaughn. Down to first to complete the putout. So Vaughn strikes out, and Perez made a couple dandy pitches to the big first baseman there to get the strikeout. He needed the strikeout of the pop-up, and he struck him out.
Nice play also by Stanley. Didn't swat it with his glove. He just squared up and blocked it.
There's the breakdown. Left-handers, right-handers.
Yeah, I think that's why Melido tried to throw. He's trying to throw more sliders to the right-handed bats. He hung a slider to Naring for the double.
Andre Dawson. He fouls this one back. Dawson, the designated hitter, he's been favoring a hamstring injury as well. But in that DH role, it's not something that he has to push that much. So his dangerous bat is still in there.
He was hopeful coming into spring training he'd be able to play some right field for Butch Hobson.
Down to third, Wade Boggs. Throw first, wide, safe at first, and the run scores. Mattingly couldn't get back to the bag. Boggs commits the throwing error, giving the Red Sox another run.
We saw Wade a couple of weeks ago having some difficulty with his throwing arm. Don't know if it's stiffness. There's got to be some soreness there. This is down from the side a little bit, has plenty on it, but the ball just sailed. It's almost like a cut fastball, just sailed, and Don could not get back in time.
So an error charged to Boggs. And here is Scott Cooper. So Melido was out of the inning, except for the throwing error. Ball 1 to Cooper.
Sometimes the trades you don't make are the best ones of all. Remember, they wanted to move Naring to third, and they'd have Valentin, who's got a bad knee, and don't know if he can play. May have to have it scoped. He's on the bench, and all of a sudden Cooper starts swinging the bat well. He's been a terrific, not just addition, but he's really replacing the Boggs numbers starting this year.
333, 7 home runs, and 26 runs batted in coming into this game. He'd made a little adjustment, spent some time with Mike Easler.
Opened his stance up a little bit. You can see the ball. Did that last year.
2 balls and a strike.
It's funny how a guy makes an adjustment. Easler had him make the adjustment so he could get the barrel out and maybe pull a few more balls. There's Mike, the hit man.
He has a hit video coming out. A hitting video, I should say, and he hopes it'll be a hit.
Coming out next week.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Tinsley and Naring have scored the runs.
Former Yankee Butch Hobson.
first. Dawson back in.
You see any different than that move right there, that spin move?
I don't think he ever does anything different with that move.
No, it's the same thing. First base umpire Chuck Merriweather didn't even blink. They stole a lot of bases, this Red Sox team in spring training. Even Andre Dawson had a couple. They led the majors. You know, it was only spring, but Butch Hobson was trying to send a message to the opposition that you better keep your eye on my runners.
And the count goes to 3-2 on Cooper.
You wonder, Dwayne, if the threat of the steal that Butch Hobson has put into the opposition's mind has not led to their home run total going up too. You know, there are still some catchers who won't call the fork ball, will not call a breaking ball. The threat of a steal, they'll call a fastball. You get more fastballs, maybe it's a more hittable pitch for this Red Sox team.
3-2 and a swing and a miss. Cooper out on strikes to retire the side. Red Sox score twice. One hit, one error, and a man left. A walk as well, and we'll go into the bottom of the first. Red Sox 2, Yankees coming in to hit.
Get it moving.
Keep on moving. Oh yeah. Come on. Sing it. Yeah.
And the silver bullet has the taste to keep it moving.
Come on.
Coors Light.
Oh yeah.
Naturally brewed for a taste that goes down easy.
Sing it.
Coors Light. Keep on moving.
Let's do this one more time.
Okay.
That nobody beats the whiz. There's no more sales.
No more sales.
No more haggling.
No more haggling.
No more searching for the lowest price.
Right.
The price is right every day.
But what if somebody else has a sale?
They mark their prices lower automatically.
Automatically.
They'll shop their competitor stores, read their ads. They'll know way before we do.
I like sales. It's kind of fun searching for the best price.
What do you like better? Searching for the best price or getting it?
Good point.
Here's something new for your sensitive teeth.
No way. My dentist wants me to use Sensodyne, remember?
This is Sensodyne. New Sensodyne with baking soda. Well?
No pain. And I love that clean feeling.
Sensodyne, now with baking soda.
Back at Yankee Stadium, the Red Sox have given Roger Clemens 2 runs with which to work. One of those an unearned run, as it turns out. And here's the Yankee starting lineup against Clemens, presented by 7-Eleven. Luis Polonia, Wade Boggs, and Don Mattingly. In the middle, the DH is Danny Tarnable, Paul O'Neill, and Randy Velarde follow, with Bernie Williams, Mike Stanley, and Mike Gallego completing Buck Showalter's lineup this afternoon.
The defense behind the Rocket, not a defense that has a lot of mobility, but it is a defense that is pretty sure. And boy, does Clemens love throwing to Damon Berryhill. He loves the way he calls the ball game.
Well, Berryhill has some experience catching some successful pitchers, Greg Maddux among them. So he's moved right in here, dividing some time behind the plate. Feels very comfortable catching Clemens.
Roger is not throwing as many fork balls, they tell me, this year. Of course, last year he had a stomach and abdomen pull. He had elbow problems, tried to pitch through it. But in this ballpark with 5 left-handed bats, switch hitter Bernie, he might throw a few more fork balls because of that short right field fence.
Kind of interesting. He said Al Nipper, who used to be with this Red Sox ball club, now a coach in their minor league system, caught him throwing across his body a little bit more and talked with him, and he tried to correct that. Luis Polonia leading off for the Yankees. The first pitch is way high, ball 1. Well, when you look at his numbers, they're back very close to the conventional Roger Clemens line.
Well, he had a rough first outing. Remember that? Very short outing for Roger, and they were starting to say, uh-oh, he really doesn't have it.
Yep.
Again, as he did not last year, but the last 3 starts he's allowed in 32 innings, just 3 earned runs. He's already thrown the mid-90s.
Yep. And his hits allowed to innings pitched ratio, excellent. Only 32 hits, almost 43 innings. So that's way down. His first pitch was at 94. 3 balls and a strike. He has not allowed a run earlier than the 3rd inning. How about that?
That's preparation. He is such a hard worker between starts, and with his new pitching coach Mike Rourke, knows how to prepare before a game in the bullpen. Not just physically, mentally. Slider.
And he walks Polonia. So the Yankees have their leadoff man on as Polonia walks for the 12th time this year.
Roger wants a new baseball, but I think he worked a couple of steps in. He just inquired again of Mark Johnson or Barry Hill, where was the last pitch? He's trying to figure out Mark Johnson's strike zone. Thought he had the inside corner on Polonia. Let's take a look. Wow. Not a true angle from center field, but that sky view camera might be telling. The one above the home plate looking straight down.
Runners going to pitch to Boggs, a strike, and Polonia got in there. Polonia stealing second base on the first pitch to Boggs. Steal number 7 for Luis. He's 7 out of 11 in that department. So he didn't waste any time. The Yankees now 12-12 in that department. So they've statistically broken even, but when you're caught 12 times and steal just 12 bases, it really turns out to be a negative.
Well, perhaps they'll get more fastballs. Barry Hill did have shoulder surgery. His arm strength is not quite what it was early in his career with the Cubs. But again, what an opportune time to steal after you walk a guy, focusing on the hitter Boggs to get a quality first pitch strike.
1 ball, 1 strike. Yankees won last night. Red Sox come out with 2 runs in the first today and send Clemens to the mound.
This is a test for both of these teams because they've just come off long stretches against the West, the weaker teams, and now they're finding competition that is, I think, more to their liking. The professionals on ball clubs, Boggs, Mattingly, they kind of like this kind of challenge.
The Yankees put together a 12-5 record against the West.
Did you see Boston?
The Red Sox are 13-2 against the West. So while the Yankees were 7 over 500, the Red Sox went 11 games over in fewer games. Foul out of play.
And losing Frank Viola might be a career-threatening injury. Surgery with the tendon apparently snapped. That could really hurt them. Clemens, as he usually does, tries to establish his fastball and pinpoint it early in the ball game.
A 2-ball, 2-strike count. Butch Hobson looking on. 42-year-old manager of the Red Sox. Into the dirt, blocked by Berryhill. Berryhill keeping it out in front of him.
Boggs wants the ball looked at. Once it hit the dirt, I believe a splitter. He's trying to strike out Boggs. A hard split-fingered fastball. It picks up an abrasion. Boggs wants it thrown out, and it is.
We've seen Clemens here in the first couple hitters. That one in the dirt, blocked by Berryhill. He was high and away with a couple pitches. Normally speaking, Berryhill said he feels very comfortable catching Clemens because he's so right. He's generally in the area he wants to be, and that makes it, even though he can throw hard, a little easier for a catcher to handle. Boggs founds it out of play.
Rocket last season also, aside from physical injuries, his mom was very ill, doing better now apparently, but he said he found out how you can put this game too high up on the pedestal, and he said, I learned a lot worrying more about my mom. And he's made speeches to his other teams. Say, look, boys, no matter what happens off the field, you still got to get out here and pay and earn your money.
There's a base hit into left center field for Boggs. Here comes Polonia in to score, and the Yankees are on the board. So Wade Boggs, who was charged with the throwing error in the top of the inning, comes back with an RBI single in the bottom.
Was that an incredible battle between Boggs and Roger Clemens? He battled him. He fouled off pitches, laid off 2 split fingers, I believe, down the strike zone, and then takes this fastball at 95. Roger having to come in with a strike, couldn't nibble at the corners, and rifle to left center by Wade. There's a great example what veterans can mean to a ball club. Don't take your defensive woes in the first inning to the back. Boggs didn't.
And Boggs was even more determined as he drove in the run. Now Don Mattingly. A run home with a man on, nobody out. Mattingly pops it back of third. Cooper and Rodriguez charging, and it's going to be out of reach.
How about Donnie? He is pulling for that ball to go foul, realizing he is no longer in Oakland or California with more space in foul territory, and he applauded when the ball finally went out. It was uncatchable. That's a sign of emotion you don't see very often from Mattingly or, a lot of Yankee players, but this is the Red Sox.
Mattingly 8 out of his last 16 to push the average up to 290. A step back by Clemens. Bologna walked, stole second, and Boggs singled him home. On the corner, it says Mark Johnson. 0-2.
Look at how high Berryhill sets up. Splitter that nibbles around the outside edge. So Mattingly now spreads out and gets into his 2-strike mode, trying to put the ball in place somewhere.
He fouls this one off to the left.
You find it interesting talking to Buck Showalter about the numbers, strikeouts being up, walks being up, home runs, what he said about hitting with 2 strikes?
Well, it's almost a lost art with the exception of a few hitters, Mattingly being one of them.
Boggs another one.
Yep.
Right there, he's just spoiling a good pitch. That's all he's trying to do, and he does. Stays alive for another pitch at least.
Well, that would account for the strikeout total being as high as it is. You can look at home runs up and walks up, pretty much figure those, and then that strikeout.
Errors up.
Yep.
Is the ball getting to infielders faster as that one did to Boggs? That and the combination of expansion.
Another foul ball. So Mattingly down 0-2, making contact and trying to defeat these 0-2 pitches.
When Mark Johnson called that second strike, Mattingly may have felt was off the plate. Donnie immediately has to move his strike zone outward a little bit, and he's swinging at pitches maybe 6 inches away, perhaps because of the second strike that was called.
Boggs at first, nobody out, a run home. One ball, 2 strikes.
The one thing about Mattingly, as you watch him spoil good pitches outside off the plate, to this point you have not seen Roger Clemens or Berryhill come inside. They still realize the quickness of Mattingly's bat speed inside. Even though he's protecting, inside is where he can really hurt you in this ballpark. If they come in, it's going to be in off the plate.
The 1-2. Mattingly goes to left. Greenwell is there and makes the catch.
But those are 2 great at bat. Well, 3 really. Bologna walking, which is unusual for him until this year. And then Boggs and Mattingly.
Everything is up another notch with Boston in town and Clemens on the mound.
That heads down swing, watching the ball as long as he could. Thing about Mattingly and Boggs, when they get 2 strikes, they protect, but they don't get defensive. They still have enough authority to put the ball in play on the line.
Danny Tartable. It's under this one and lifts a high pop-up. Naring and Rodriguez. Who's going to get it? Rodriguez is there to make the catch. Carlos Rodriguez, who spent a short time with the Yankees playing shortstop in the absence of Valentin.
He has got a good hand. Talking to Bob Montgomery, one of their broadcasts, he said his range was good, and Carlos not known to be a fast runner, but he is known to have terrific hands, terrific feel for playing defense.
2 outs in the Yankee first. Paul O'Neill steps in. Boggs still at first.
Mo Vaughn's going to play behind Boggs with the left-handed bat of O'Neill in there. There's Mo.
O'Neill hitting .455. Pitch down around the knees for a strike.
one of Roger Clemens' trademarks when he's doing well, and he's had only the one bad year last year where he had less than 500, is after his team scores, shutting you down the next half inning. He didn't do it. Polonia started off with a walk.
O'Neill had 2 hits last night and a run batted in. He's taken the first pitch for a strike. Foul back. Pitch starting to get in on O'Neill, and Paul is behind 0-2.
A little different than the way Clemens pitched Boggs and Mattingly. Keep the ball away, make him hit it away. O'Neill, a different hitter who's been hitting the ball in the opposite field, wouldn't let him get his arms out. Tied him up inside. The bench coach, Clete Boyer, who on occasion, when asked, will whisper play situations to Buck and pick something up that he can relay to his manager. Maybe watching an infielder move to tip off a pitch.
0-2 the count. And again, Clemens steps back. Boggs drove in the run. Red Sox scored 2 in the first. The Yankees back with 1 in their half. A ball and 2 strikes.
Butch Hobson right there was studying Willie Randolph, the third base coach. See if he could pick up a tendency or something he might tip off.
That will square the count to Paul at 2-2. The Yankee third base coach.
It's not a good running situation. First of all, Boggs is not a runner. Secondly, you don't want to force O'Neill, distract him to swing at a bad pitch, or if a pitch he does not like.
The 2-2. Ball 3.
He is just missing that outer edge, isn't he? Berryhill trying to frame it as he tries to paint the corner. I mean, this is a power pitcher with great control. We'll show from the sky view camera.
Just off the edge.
A splitter that missed by what? A few inches?
The 3-2, and he loses O'Neill. He had O'Neill down 2 strikes and walks him the second walk of the inning.
That is respect. He knows the numbers and how O'Neill has been swinging the bat.
Now Randy Velarde's right-handed bat.
He hasn't done bad against Roger, has he? Velarde? I don't think Velarde's done too badly against Clemens.
We got him 308.
That's not too bad against Clemens.
Nope.
Hasn't had a real sampling, but 26 at bats is darn good. See if Roger now, after the left-handers, with the left-handers, he's stayed away from the slider and the curveball, but he's been throwing the curve and slide a little bit more. He may show it to Velarde.
Randy at 321 for the year. And it's too low. A ball, no strikes. So the Yankees with a run home, down 2-1, and 2 men on with 2 men out in the bottom of the first. So the Yankees have gotten to Clemens here in the first inning for at least 1. There's a strike, 1-1 now.
They have pushed his pitch total in this first inning.
Randy hitting in the 6th spot in the Yankee lineup. Now behind 1 ball, 2 strikes. Clemens lifetime 15-8 against the Yankees, but with an earned run average of over 4. And And he's high this time. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Rogers' Yankee nemesis is not in the ballgame. Roger thought this was close enough to be called a strike. A fastball that cuts a little bit. Look at where Berryhill catches it. Must have been called outside, but
Clemens up around 30 pitches for this inning. Here it is. And a bouncer to the shortstop, Rodriguez, for the force at second. The toss to Nehring forces O'Neill, and the Yankees are out in the first. They settle for a run on 1 hit and leave 2. Through 1, 2-1 Boston.
Huge play. Rangers have a 4-2 lead, and then Tom scores off a brilliant pass from Alexei Kovalov. Oh, man.
Come to the interchange. Come to the interchange. Come to the interchange. To the better bank. Change to the better bank. Better. Come to the interchange. Come to the interchange.
Making your money make more for you. Interchange State Bank.
As a Giant, Otis Anderson brought style and excellence to the playing field. Off the field, he continues with fine Italian menswear from Onore and Grande Moda. Now every man can have the feel and fit of quality Italian menswear in any size. From big and tall to the regular and off-regular, Onore and Grande Moda bring you the best in Italian men's fashions with a large selection of suits and accessories, along with an owner and staff committed to excellence with personal attention. Look good in any size with Italian menswear from Onore and Grande Moda at the mall at 4 Paramus.
When you're serious about car electronics, see Sam Sound. They can hook you up with Cellular One, the affordable way to keep in touch from Boston all the way down to DC with no roaming charges. Or check out Sam Sound's complete line of Clarion components for high-quality sound in every budget. For innovations in performance and security, Clarion leads the way. And you can trust Sam Sound to install your vital equipment quickly and professionally. Sam Sound, West Caldwell in England.
This copyrighted telecast is authorized under rights granted by the New York Yankees solely for the private non-commercial use of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, retransmission, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written consent of the New York Yankees and Madison Square Garden Network is prohibited. Billy Hatcher, the right fielder, leads off the second inning for Boston. And the first pitch low and outside for a ball. Hatcher with a home run, 14 runs batted in to go with an average of 276. Looks at a strike. It's 1-1.
Billy last year, of course, played a lot of center field, which really was out of position for him. Why they went out and got Otis Nixon.
This one is foul and the count is 1-2. He recently snapped an 0 for 22. Generally speaking, Hatcher, a pretty consistent player, all facets of the game, including at the plate.
He grows on you.
Yes, he does.
You see him every day. On a 3 or 4 game series, you learn to appreciate him. A real student of the game.
2 balls, 2 strikes. A full count. And he goes after a pitch perhaps high out of the strike zone and pops it foul. It's going to carry out a play. Melido walked Tinsley to start the game, and that cost him a run. Clemens walked Polonia to start the Yankee first, and that cost him a run.
And we get from our truck, Leon Schweier, producer, that of the 30 pitches that Clemens threw in the first, only 7 were below 90. Those are probably splitters or maybe a slider. Topped out at 96.
This one skied down the right side, out of play.
Perez, he may reach 90 with a few pitches, but I think he's better off just pitching for the corners, moving the ball in and out, spotting his pitches, which he did a little bit.
So,
yeah, they did that. He did that in spring training, pitching better.
There were times before the sore shoulder, fly ball into right, and O'Neill is there to make the catch for the out. Times when the Yankees would have him as high as maybe 93, somewhere in that neighborhood. And coming back, he's not consistently going to be there, and that's something the Yankees aren't overly concerned with. They actually think that he might be better down in the 80s and varying his pitches and, as you point out, working both sides of the plate and actually pitching a little more than throwing.
Well, Billy Connors thinks that it will lower his pitch count and he'll go deeper in the ball game. Get some 3 and 4 pitch hitters instead of every one 6 and 7, where he foul balls off, he goes 3 and 2. And over the course of 30 or 30 plus starts, that means a lot when you hit September. How many pitchers? What's the burden on your arm?
1 strike to count to Damon Berryhill. That's in there. Nothing in 2. Berryhill was signed as a free agent to a minor league contract shortly before spring training. Went into camp and led the Red Sox in hitting this spring. Hit .444. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Proved that he was healthy and ready to go.
Red Sox have 3 catchers. There's Dave Valley from this area, caught yesterday. They've got Rich Rowland, who a right-handed, who they feel will provide some power up in Fenway.
Bouncer down the right side, and Mattingly is going to make the play unassisted. Did you see where they found out Rowland was 3 years older than they thought?
Instead of 27.
He's 30 instead of 27, the story goes.
Boston writer Nick Cafardo researched. He said, this guy's been around longer than he, so they said 7. But, the only time really that a lot of ball players will tell the trades is when it comes time to collect Social Security or their pension.
Yeah,
then they admit it.
They get older faster. Rowland apparently spent a couple of years as a lumberjack between high school and going to college.
You see the size of him? He looks like Paul Bunyan. That's one strong guy.
We saw him when he first came up with the Tigers, and it doesn't surprise you at all that this guy was a lumberjack. If there's one big leaguer who appears to be that, it would be Rich Rowland. 1 ball, 1 strike on Carlos Rodriguez.
Here's the kind of guy you don't want to waste any time at all. Not that he's a bad hitter, but left-handed he's better than right. But you're hitting 9th, and you don't want to throw him 5 pitches. Throw the ball in there right now. Don't nibble. Let him put it in play.
And a 1 hopper to Gallego at second. Takes care of Rodriguez. And the Red Sox, 1, 2, 3, they go. Bottom of the inning 2 coming. 2-1 Boston.
Zay, you're out for a beer.
What do you have?
Beer. What if there wasn't any beer?
Sorry, guys. Never heard of it.
Oh, Zima.
Zima's good.
There you go.
What is this? I don't know. Zima's a unique alcohol beverage. I kind of like it.
Anything else?
Did you get pretzels? What day is this?
Did you reserve the car with Hertz?
Not exactly, but it's a good deal.
Are they as fast as Hertz?
Not exactly, but what's the rush? We're on vacation!
Dad, are we lost? Hertz gives you computerized directions.
Honey, this is not exactly Hertz, okay?
I hope they have the same emergency road service as Hertz.
Not exactly. In Rent-A-Car, there's Hertz, and there's not exactly. Make sure you choose the right one.
Are you sure this is the way to the hotel?
Not exactly.
Did you hear that?
Chrysler invites you to lease a leader. Concorde, last year's Automobile of the Year, now only $269 a month. The highly acclaimed 6-passenger New Yorker, only $294. And the car that reinvented sports sedans, Chrysler LHS, is only $329. All with standard dual airbags, anti-lock brakes, and now exceptional lease offers. Lease a leader. The award-winning cap-forward Chryslers at your Chrysler Plymouth dealers.
The Privilege Plus card at Nobody Beats the Wiz. You pay 0% interest for 90 days. 0%. Nobody beats the Wiz.
New York Yankees baseball is brought to you in part by Hertz. For business, for pleasure, Nobody does it exactly like Hurts. Two to one. Boston leading as the Yankees come in ahead in the bottom of the second against Roger Clemens. Bernie Williams will lead off, then Mike Stanley and Mike Gallego.
Bernie, who the first 4 or 5 innings yesterday was so disappointed that he didn't play in the first game of this series, was down at the end of the bench. And finally he came to the home plate side. And Buck said, "I've been waiting for you." And Bernie started cheering, and he said, "Well, I really was disappointed." And then he got in the flow of things for the Red Sox series, started cheering and clapping and doing the high fives. He's a very sensitive young man, and he missed so much spring training. I think it set him back a little bit.
Hitting 190 for the year. Takes the first pitch too high, a 95-mile-per-hour fastball. And this one is foul out of play.
That Sunday they meet again. Sans Michael Jordan is at Birmingham, hitting what? So he had 3 hits yesterday, hitting about 260.
Is he at 260?
Yeah, 260, 270. Yeah. He was dropping. He struck out 30 sometimes. It's interesting. Here's I don't know if he'll make it or not, but 32-year-old man playing against some of these kids are teenagers. So
yeah.
A little age difference. He's a little more mature.
Two balls, 1 strike.
Roger Clemens pitching against a very disciplined team. A lot of these pitches, and Roger's a power pitcher, as we said, like Seaver, like Nolan Ryan became late in his career, power pitcher with control, and he's just missing in and out, and the Yankees are causing him some problems by being selective.
Bernie takes this one. That's in for a strike, and the count goes to 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Yankees lead the major leagues in bases on balls taken.
But who would have thought that, looking at this club a couple of years ago, that the Yankees would lead any league in bases on balls, but that's where they are now.
Well, part of it was Tartable, who walks 100 times with the other was, and I think the big thing is Wade Boggs, starting from 2 springs ago, and that gets catching. I think it's helped Polonia just by watching Boggs. It's helped Mattingly.
Yeah, that's the big thing. As much as their numbers would contribute to that, just their presence and what other hitters will learn from being on the same club with a Wade Boggs. Learn about hitting. The patience, the discipline, working the count, and the confidence ultimately. Inside, and a full count on Bernie Williams.
Well, we saw a lot of full counts and base on balls on that West Coast trip. A lot of that was due to the poor quality of pitching that the Yankees saw on the West Coast, with a few exceptions. Yankees on base average coming in was right around 380. Now it's only after a month, but that is high.
Strike 3 called. Bernie caught looking, this one grabbing the corner. And Bernie Williams becomes the first strikeout posted by Roger Clemens.
Once in a while, Roger will not only throw the splitter, but he'll throw a with-the-seam fastball that will have tailing action.
From our
Sky View is provided by Perez. What you are is more important than what you wear. That is telling. Some umpires don't like that. It undresses them, so to speak.
Oh. First pitch to Mike Stanley is too high, ball 1.
But I think it really shows that umpires 95 plus, or maybe even 99% of the times, are right.
Well, Clemens had a little something on that one as he threw it by Mike Stanley, and the count 1 ball 1 strike. We've already had Clemens up around 96 in the first couple innings of this game. 2-1.
We got to get some of the umpires to endorse that camera. You got to, boxes of free clothing from Perry Ellis. What the heck? We love your Sky View, boys.
Two and two.
Well, every pitcher likes to get the rhythm and get on a roll. Roger didn't have it first inning. Now all of a sudden you see some of the pitches that were just missing out of the zone are near the edges now.
Well, the last 5 pitches.
It's got a rhythm going now, boys.
And he called Stanley out on strikes. Mike thought the pitch was maybe a little high. Let's take a look.
Now it's at the belt. It's on the edge. It was a little cut fastball. Holds it right there on the black. You can see the glove partly in the strike zone by Barry Hill. He just framed it nicely.
So Clemens, after going 3-2 on Bernie Williams, hit that outside edge and was able to do the same thing with Mike Stanley. Gallego fouls this one away. Strike one.
And now if you're a batter, you know, the Yankees took a lot of pitches in the first. Bernie started off the second. But now you see that Clemens, the power pitcher, is now hitting the corners. You might say, well, we better swing earlier in the count because once he gets us 2 down, he's going to bury us. Let's see how it works out.
1 ball, 1 strike. Two outs, bases empty. And he's ahead of Gallego, 1-2. Remember the variation of speed, 85 on that one.
It's a slider. He still hasn't hung a curveball on any of the right-handers. They're going inside. That's not a breaking ball.
And a foul ball.
That's what you were talking
about. That catcher sets up on that inside. You can look for that hard stuff.
Yeah, that's where, you know, if the catcher moves too soon, you don't have to look at him. Sometimes, if the catcher's not careful, the hitter can feel him sliding in. Right-hander to right-hander set up inside. He's not calling a breaking ball.
Nobody on. Williams and Stanley have been caught looking. Gallego behind in the count. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And a foul ball behind Willie Randolph.
See if now he feels he's got him set up for something middle of the plate away. He's come inside hard a couple of times. Mike is starting to hit a little bit. He showed signs of it in the latter part of that western swing.
Average up to 220 overall. That's just outside the line and foul.
He's going to stay in there. Has 3 consecutive pitches. Pitches from the sky view that it's difficult to put in play hard when it's right on that inner edge.
He fouls this one into the upper deck down the first base side.
Those veterans,
I'll tell you, we've seen some good at-bats here. First time through the Yankee order. You give Clemens his due, but the Yankee hitters have held their ground. A little work in front of the hill. Gallego battling Clemens. Mike behind in the count. Clemens drops down a bit. That might be illegal right there from Roger Clemens. If it's not, it should be.
And he didn't miss by much if he did it all. Barry Hill holds it right on the outer edge and at the knees. Oh man, there's no chance for a right-hand hitter off this, but see where this baby is. Little crossfire. Oh, Mike took that for only one reason. He couldn't pull the trigger.
And strike 3. Gallego didn't like the call, so Clemens worked over the corners in the second inning and got 3 strikeouts, all of them looking. Through 2, 2-1 Boston.
The Yanks are at the stadium to battle the Indians Monday night on MSG.
What would you do with a Motorola pager?
Never miss a meeting.
Boss at home. Pager. All right, you got the pager number, right? We're going out.
Cool, this works.
A Motorola pager lets you stay in touch with the important people in your life while doing the things important to you. The affordable, portable Motorola pager.
Life goes on.
As a Giant, Otis Anderson brought style and excellence to the playing field. Off the field, he continues with fine Italian menswear from Onore and Grande Moda. Now every man can have the feel and fit of quality Italian menswear in any size. From big and tall to the regular and off-regular, Onore and Grande Moda bring you the best in Italian men's fashions with a large selection of suits and accessories, along with an owner and staff committed to excellence with personal attention. Look good in any size with Italian menswear from Onore and Grande Moda at the mall at 4 Paramus.
It's the grand opening of the all-new Saturn of Inglewood. Now is the time for you to come check out all the sensational values from Saturn at Saturn of Inglewood. Finally, Eastern Bergen County has a convenient place to purchase and service their new Saturn, just 5 minutes from George Washington Bridge on Grand Avenue. So for unprecedented automotive quality and value and resale value, you owe it to yourself to check out Saturn at the all-new Saturn of Inglewood in Inglewood.
We're at Yankee Stadium, headed into the third inning. 2-1 here. Boston leading the Yankees. Tonight at 7:30. Game 4 of the semifinals. The Eastern Conference. The Rangers up 3 games. Take on the Washington Capitals. A possible sweep.
The Sharks beat the Leafs. They're ahead of them now. I mean, the Rangers, I'm not saying it's clear sailing in postseason play, but boy, they don't have a whole lot of obstacles ahead of them, I don't think.
Lee Tinsley looks at a strike.
Boggs comes in looking for a possible bunt off the bat of the switch hitter.
1 ball, 1 strike here. Tinsley opened the ball game with a walk. Perez walked him on 4 consecutive pitches. There's the splitter, the fork ball. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
That pitch seems more effective when he doesn't throw it hard. He's on top of it, unlike last year where it would stay flat.
This one bouncing away from Stanley, and the count is 2 balls, 2 strikes. Boy, what a sequence by Roger Clemens in the Yankee half the second. He got Bernie Williams looking on a pitch just over the outside corner. Stanley looking on a pitch outside corner. And Gallego looking on a pitch away.
Whoa,
fastball.
That's
he
90.
threw that one by Tinsley. 3rd strikeout for Perez. So he got ahead of him using the fork ball and then blew that one by him.
Fork ball that bounced, 2 consecutive fork balls, and he backs it up with that little cut fastball upstairs. That's what they call changing the eye level, the baseball expression, the jargon of the bullpen. Get him looking down, down, down for the fork ball. Change the eye level upstairs.
Tim Nehring. Strike call. Nehring doubled into the left field corner. His 7th double of the year and his 21st run batted in. One and one.
Young man who's had to battle through a lot of injuries. The back surgery, the arm problem.
He's just so happy that everything works and he's feeling good. Strike call. 1 ball and 2 strikes. And the amazing thing is he's played all over the infield and played well wherever he's been.
Well, he's big enough and strong enough that Mike Easter thinks that he may be a 15 to 20 home run guy. He got set back by the injuries, missed a lot. In Fenway, he just might.
He is out on strikes. So Perez strikes out Tinsley and now gets Nehring.
He's got caught up in the Clemens syndrome. Struck out the side in the 2nd. Melido's got the first 2 in the 3rd. Boy, is that a great fork ball. Woo.
78 miles per hour on that fork ball. He got Tinsley with a fastball high out of the strike zone and comes back to get Nehring here with a fork ball. Greenwell takes one too high. Ball 1.
We talk about hitters getting caught up facing Roger Clemens. We've seen it. How about Melido? He's caught up in it also.
Yep. Right back down the middle to Bernie Williams in center. Greenwell is out of there, and 1-2-3 go the Red Sox. Another 1-2-3 inning for Perez. Bottom of the 3rd coming. 2-1 Boston.
No, we've won 33.
On Thursday, May 12th, all fans 21 and over will receive a Yankee briefcase, compliments of New York Bus Service.
Get it moving. And the Silver Bullet has the taste to keep it moving. Coors Light. Naturally brewed for a taste that goes down easy. Coors Light. Keep on moving.
Hi, I'm Jim Palmer for the Money Store. Right now, you can refinance your first mortgage even if you've been late on some payments in the past. You can apply over the phone, and there's no application fee. So call the Money Store at 1-800-LOAN-YES. That's 1-800-LOAN-YES.
Every Neon comes with an advanced single overhead cam 16-valve engine, and its 132 high-tech horses should come in mighty handy when you're trying to coax your car onto a freeway. $89.75 for starters, $12.5 nicely loaded. Say hello to Neon. High speed, low price. Plymouth Neon, now at your Chrysler Plymouth dealer.
New York Yankees baseball is brought to you in part by your local Chrysler Plymouth dealer. With Tony Kubek, Dwayne Stats from Yankee Stadium. We're headed into the bottom of the third. Middle game of the series with the Red Sox in town. And the Yankees will send the top of the order. Luis Polonia leading off against Roger Clemens. Polonia, Boggs, and then Mattingly. Clemens struck out the side in the second inning. Luis opened the Yankee first with a walk. Fouls this one out of play. Strike one.
We will see what happens if Roger Clemens' pitch count goes up. He seemed to get in a rhythm in the second, but this pitching staff changed a lot. Frank Viola, we hope he's going to be all right, but maybe career threatening, was to pitch tomorrow. Now it's going to be Heskin. And one thing Butch Hobson wanted to do, Dwayne, is coming into this series have two left-handers in his bullpen because of the short porch and all the left-handed bats of the Yankees. And now he's just got Fossis with Heskins pitching tomorrow. So it changes the makeup of this entire staff when you lose a starter.
Fossis right there in the center. He still has 7 men in that bullpen, but just one left-hander. Herring from second takes care of the bouncer with a toss to Movan. 1 out. They have 6 right-handers and the left-hander Fossis out there in the bullpen.
Hesketh against Mulholland tomorrow here at the stadium. That'll be on PIX. Bobby Mercer, the Hall of Famer, Phil Rizzuto, Paul Olden.
Wade Boggs takes ball 1. Wade has the run batted in for the Yankees. He singled into left center field in the first. One and one.
You think the Scooter's heartbeat's going to go up about like this juiced up rabbit ball when he gets on the podium for the induction at Cooperstown?
I'd say there's no question.
That's going to be great.
This one is high. 2 balls and 1 strike. I want a transcript of the speech.
Oh,
okay.
He'll be great.
There's ball 3. So Boggs went to 3-2 and battled Clemens in the first inning before he delivered the run-scoring single.
Not too many hitters have been better, I think, in the history of the game at working the count than Wade Boggs, and meaning so much to the next hitters and the people on the bench who are watching the release point, pitch selection.
And he draws the walk. 3 walks given up by Clemens. 2 in the first and 1 here in the third inning. Clemens made 30 pitches even in the first, another 21 in the second. 1 out walk to Boggs.
Well, he got the 7, 8, and 9 hitters. Williams and Stanley were slumping. Called out on strikes. Gallego showing signs of hitting, so he wiped them up. And now you get to the top of the lineup where the better hitters are supposed to be, and Wade works him for a walk.
Don Mattingly up. Mattingly fell behind his first time up there. Ground ball, second base. Naring to Rodriguez, 1 and over to first to complete the double play. Rodriguez got rid of the ball quickly on a 4-6-3. We are through 3. 2-1 Boston.
Even when you're traveling and away from home, you need a health plan that treats you like one of the family. GHI, the good news in healthcare.
Rob and Rick in the sibling rivalry.
Hi, I'm Rob, and I own Tenafly Jeep Eagle.
And I'm the better brother, Rick. Wyckoff Chrysler Plymouth's my place.
Don't get lost at those big highway dealerships. We give the lowest prices.
And the best service.
But we do have one problem.
He wants to be better than me, so come help us out.
So come to Tenafly Jeep Eagle.
He means Wyckoff Chrysler Plymouth for this free t-shirt.
The brother with the fewest t-shirts wins.
Please help them end this sibling rivalry.
Come to Gorman Appliance of Inglewood for the guaranteed lowest prices. Gorman is a member of Associated Volume Buyers. 938 stores strong means top quality at the guaranteed lowest price. We have the lowest prices on refrigerators, microwaves, ranges, washers, dryers, TVs, and VCRs. Free delivery on most major appliances. With our 30-day lowest prices guarantee, you're assured the lowest price. Gorman Appliance, 30 East Palisade Avenue, Inglewood. Lowest price guaranteed.
Call 1-852-TIGER. 1-852-TIGER. Experience the ultimate workout.
All the scoring in the first inning, 2-1 Boston as we head into the fourth. And after the third, Mike Rourke, the pitching coach there, along with his battery, Roger Clemens and Damon Berryhill. Mo Vaughn leads off and taps this one straight back foul, strike 1.
Well, at the end of last season, Butch Hobson told all his coaches they were going to be back, and it seemed like just shortly after that, Rich Gale, Rick Burleson, they were gone, and went out and got Mike Rourke, so he's really back home.
Yep. Rourke, after spending a stretch in the mid to late 80s with the Cardinals. Ground ball, and Mattingly comes up with it. The toss to Perez to retire Vaughn. Hang a star on that play for Don Mattingly, deep behind the bag.
He was not playing Mo Vaughn on the line. Look how far Don is off the line, and when you've got a Mo Vaughn, you've got severe topspin. He hit the ball so hard, it had double written all over it, and boy, that first batter inning is so important. The captain saves a double. You've seen Mark Grace, you've seen Hernandez, anybody, you know, they make plays like he does, and I saw Vic Power was so good, but I don't know if I've ever seen anybody like Mattingly.
It's difficult. Difficult to think of anybody handling that spot better, and he really is. Instead of just a first baseman, he is an infielder at first base. A ball, no strikes. Dawson under this one, skies it to the left, and Polonia shading his eyes out there, makes the catch.
He waited till it came out. Those sunglasses don't do you a bit of good if it's right in the corona of that sun. That's a cigar Corona. It's Corolla, isn't it?
Close.
Yeah.
Starts with a C. 5 or 6 letters, somewhere in the neighborhood. 2 up, 2 down in the fourth. Here's Scott Cooper. He skies this one toward right center field. Bernie's drawing a bead and is there to make the catch. to retire the Red Sox in the fourth. 1-2-3 against Perez, and we'll go into the bottom half of inning 4. 2-1 Boston.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's wrestle!
Hi, Rick. Hey, Brian. How the wife and kids? How's your mom? Good. She says hi. Good.
And the winner of tonight's match receives Ice Cold Bud Light. Bud Light!
For the great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down, make it a Bud Light.
Anything you want. Can I help you, sir? Yeah, I'm letting him pick out something for his birthday. Come on, he's gonna be 12. He wants the mermaid.
Excellent choice. And how will you be paying for that?
American Express.
Actually, we prefer a different card.
I don't think he's comfortable with that.
You mean he understood when I said we'd prefer a different card?
Oh, yeah. He feels it's the right of the consumer to choose the form of payment. And the American Express card fits his financially responsible lifestyle.
What was that for?
He gets me in every commercial.
Every business day, Delta Airlines offers New Yorkers more non-stop flights to more cities in Europe than any other airline in the world. From Paris to Moscow to Rome, Delta helps you get down to business in every corporate capital on the continent. And then we have just as many flights to bring you back to those more important meetings. Delta Airlines.
There are a lot of very fine men's stores in New York where you can pay a lot for great clothes. But there is a more intelligent choice. There's Rothman's on Union Square. It's the least expensive way to buy expensive clothes. Rothman's, the more intelligent way to buy men's clothes.
New York Yankee baseball, brought to you in part by Rothman's, the least expensive way to buy expensive clothes.
Anything more beautiful than that shot right there? Wow. How they know those dimensions were going to be so precise throughout the history of this game. 90 feet, 60 feet, 6 inches.
Truly one of the great mysteries of mankind. You know?
Well, I don't know. Of the cosmos, maybe.
90 feet?
Yeah.
They say 60 feet 6 inches was a mistake. It was supposed to be, because they've changed distances, and they were going to change it to 60, and somebody just made a mistake in transcribing what the distance should be, and so the guy who marked it off thought instead of 60 it was 60 feet 6 inches, and it turns out to be 60 feet 6 inches. But the 90 feet is the amazing one. Tartabull takes this one high, ball one. Of all the measurements in the game, that's the fascinating one, I think. Tartabull popped out of big league pop to short his first time. 1 ball, 1 strike. It will be left-handers Terry Mulholland and Joe Hesketh tomorrow. Roger Clemens and Melido Perez today. And another popper down the left side, and that's going to carry out a play. So Tartabull getting a lot of hang time today, and that one carried into the seats.
Feel a little wind picking up right now. It was pretty calm until just, when we're in commercial almost. Now the wind, some of the flags are blowing out toward left field. There's always a swirling wind here. And of course the American flag still at half staff. The late President Richard Nixon, a great baseball fan, be that way for 1 month.
High. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Clemens in the early stages of this one consistently in the mid-90s with his stuff. And he goes to 3-2 on Tartabull. This is the 6th 3-ball count. There's some variation of that. 3-1, 3-2, so forth that Clemens has had. He's 3-2 with Tartabull. Down to third. Makes a hop on Cooper, and Tarnable is aboard.
That area, we saw one get by Wade Boggs earlier for a double. Seems to be a lot harder than when this team left. I don't know why, if this is by design. A very tough hop. Back on the heels, it bounds up.
It's a base hit.
Boy, that's quick on that side, isn't it? That's very fast.
So the hop up off the chest of the third baseman, Scott Cooper, goes as a base hit. And here's Paul O'Neill. Yankees, the leadoff man on in the fourth inning. Clemens, who made a lot of pitches in the first two, made just 9 pitches in the third. He kind of brought him back on target a little bit more. Tarnable, the Yankee base runner. Ground ball, and this one cannot be picked by Naring. Everybody's going to be safe.
And that baby stayed down.
Tried to make a backhanded pickup.
Ground balls are just eating infielders up today. It's happened twice at third base, and now this one would have been a tough play, but the ball will scoot. Sinker ball. It hits near the lip, and instead of bounding up, it shoots on the ground, and luckily Naring gets a piece of it off his leg, I believe, that kept it in the infield. Otherwise, that's first and third. But a tough play, but a tough hop, and boy, are those balls scooting.
Third error of the year charged to Naring. The Yankees have men at first and second with Randy Velarde coming up. Velarde bounced into a fielder's choice to end the first inning. So he's 0 for 1.
See if they step off, throw to second base, do a reverse spin move fake to see if Velarde's bunting. They're in tight at the corners for Randy. See what kind of rotation they use in the event Randy is bunting. He's swinging.
No signs there, and he takes the first pitch outside. 1 ball, no strikes.
Buck Showalter did this on the Western swing where he had Kelly, I believe one time Gallego, take a pitch in what appeared to be a bunt situation. Take the first pitch, get ahead in the count, and then have him bunt.
Cooper has something to say with Clemens. There's Willie Randolph, the Yankees' third base coach. It's a 2-1 ball game. Boston leading. Red Sox with both their runs in the first. The Yankees back with a run in their first.
As hard as Roger throws with that 90-plus fastball, he's difficult to bunt on to start with.
A 2-ball, no strike count, and Berryhill wants time. Again, Willie Randolph goes through the signs. Clemens is coming off.
Excuse me, Dwayne. Mike Rock going to make a trip out there.
Clemens won his last outing 4-1. He gave up just 1 walk and struck out 8 in the 8-inning outing, allowing 4 hits. Made just 114 pitches in that one, and he is now up around 70 pitches, no outs into the 4th inning today.
And when you've got that kind of pitch count, the previous start, Butch Hobson may push him a little bit longer in this game. And, I mean, Rogers been known when he had those high strikeout total. He holds a record against Seattle a few years ago, but to throw 140, 150 pitches in the game.
2 balls, no strikes the count on Velarde. Yeah, he's not the sort of guy who's going to wear down. He's consistently been 93 or better with his hard stuff today. Ball 3. 3-0.
You imagine what kind of strikeout totals Clemens would have. First of all, he's in the National League with a pitcher. You can say that about Nolan Ryan too. But also, if he got his, they gave him a strike where it's supposed to be at the belt, up to the letters.
Man.
I mean, upstairs, he would be deathly.
And a strike call. It's 3-1. When he has missed, he hasn't missed by a lot. He was just missing in the first and then managed to pick up the corners in the second inning. Behind Velarde now, 3 balls, 1 strike. And it's foul, out of play. Full count.
Remember when the Hall of Famer Tom Seaver went to Boston and he was asked at a press conference what he would tell Roger Clemens, and Tom said, only what time the bus leaves from the hotel. Kept to the park on time.
Tarnable with the bad hop infield hit. O'Neill reaching on the error. 3-2 the count to Velarde. And a strike call on that outside edge.
Ooh, how about
so
that reaction by
Clemens
Roger?
Comes back to get Velarde, who thought the pitch was wide. About the same location that Gallego was called out on in the second inning.
Low and away, right near the black, and Roger reacts after getting this punch out. A little cutting action to that fastball right on the outer edge. Watch Roger's reaction. We're going to get that in. 91, he spots it. Even when he's trying to spot it to prevent walking a guy, it's a perfect spot. Oh, it's in the area. Watch Roger.
That's the first out, and here's Bernie Williams. Bernie was called out in the second inning. All 4 Clemens strikeouts have been called third strikes. And a tap right side. Clemens will get the tag on Bernie as the runners advance. Tarnable to third and O'Neill into second base. Bernie Williams out.
Bernie's really been a confused hitter, hasn't he? We talked about missing spring training, but it's almost like he's not sure if he should take the first pitch, swing early in the count, and work the count. And then so often what happens when you are struggling, and when you're a young hitter like Bernie, you swing at the pitcher's pitch. I mean, not that Roger's ever going to give you a hitter's pitch. A little over anxious.
Now Mike Stanley due to hit against Clemens with 2 outs and 2 men in scoring position. Berryhill and Clemens with a conference on the mound.
And it might be very simply, who do you want to pitch to? You got Bernie, it looked like on a splitter, maybe a sinker off the end of the bat. He was out in front. There's a base open.
Gallego would follow Stanley in the Yankee order.
I know Clemens, he's going to want to go right after Stanley.
And the first pitch is a strike.
It's like somebody going out to Bob Gibson on the mound saying, walk the 8th place hitter to get the pitcher, and he says, not me. He said, what do you think he's hitting 8th for? I want that pitcher leading off the next inning.
And a strike call, and Stanley is not happy. He thought the pitch was wide.
First inning, Roger Clemens was either off or he wasn't getting this call. One or the other, a combination of both. Now all of a sudden, those pitches right on or near the black, Mark Johnson has begun to call them.
The Yankees aren't happy. The Yankee hitters pleading their case, saying Clemens doesn't need any help. They think those pitches are off the plate. This one wide.
Tries a little farther out, didn't he?
Yep.
Figured, well, I got on the edge, maybe a little more. What else are you going to give me? But Roger, not because of a reputation, he's earned the reputation. He's so close to the strike zone, he's going to get a lot of those calls, like Jimmy Keywood.
1-2 now. Two outs, 2 men on. Stanley fouling this one. Boy, it's tough when you're behind Clemens. You get down 1-2. Trying to protect and still have enough of a cut to do some damage. That's a fine line right there. And a chopper up the middle, and it's going to go through. Base hit to center. Carnival scores. O'Neill scores, and the Yankees lead 3-2. Well, he protected, and Stanley down on the count of all 2 strikes bounces one up the middle and into center to give the Yankees the lead. That was some battle. He got it through.
You know, that's a splitter. You know, Roger had painted the outside corner numbers of times. You talked about how many were called out on strikes. 4 in the last, well, 3 in the second and 1 in the fourth. And he went to a splitter out of the strike zone, and Mike just got his bat on it.
Here's Mike Gallego. It's going to be foul and out of play for a strike. Stanley driving in 2. He has 12 runs batted in for the year, and the Yankees have a 1-run lead.
Mike needed that too against a real tough pitcher. Remember the last game, the 13-inning game with the bases loaded? He hit one to the, well, on the warning track to right field. One of those just misses. Might be a very important pitch for Mike, getting that hit.
Upstairs with the hard stuff, and the count is 1-1. So the Yankees have 3 runs, 3 hits.
You wonder now if Clemens, and I don't think he second-guessed himself, he felt he made a good pitch. He wouldn't think twice and say, maybe I should have pitched around him. Not necessarily intentionally to get to Mike Gallego, but he made his decision, and Stanley beat him off a good pitch. Couldn't steer it. With one of his infielders, we talked about the harder infield, it appears. Ball scooting. That one hit the hard pan in front and just bounded over his head.
So the bad hop infield hit and the error have led to the Yankee runs. Part of the bat, the barrel end of the bat starts to splinter out with that foul ball. Count still the ball, 2 strikes. September 18th, that fan interference game last year.
Gave him another shot at it. Mike was out, then he wasn't, then it was an HR, and some of the people made that kid a hero here, unfortunately, for interfering.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Gallego waiting, has a new bat. Fastball in. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Been watching Mo Vaughn at first base. Clemens throwing that hard, and the guy might shoot one on the ground. With Mike Stanley there, he's been holding him on the entire count. Do you wonder why? I do.
Yeah.
I mean, it just leaves a gap. I mean, is Mike Stanley going to steal?
Ground ball, 3rd. Ball came up. Cooper to Naring for the force on Stanley, and the Yankees are out in the 4th. But they pick up 2 runs in the frame. Couple hits and an error certainly helped. The Yankees leave 1. We're on to the 5th with the score 3-2 New York.
That other long-distance company says they have proof they'll save your business big money over AT&T on international calls. But cut through their proof and you may not be so positive. You see, they're not comparing similar calling plans, and they give you an extra discount on only 2 numbers, while AT&T gives you an extra discount on a whole country. So next time they show you proof of big savings, remember there are holes in their argument. For the whole story, call us. Let AT&T work for you.
There was only one road in, and one word of advice. Make it before the snow comes, or you might not make it at all. But at the end of that road was California, where grapes grew as big as your fist, and trees touched the clouds. There are over 4 million miles of roads in Alamo territory, and every day with every car nationwide, only Alamo gives you all those miles for free, including one California road you should still get down before the snow comes.
You wouldn't buy a new car without driving it first. Our 33-day test drive offers you this same opportunity. Nobody beats the win.
We should know. We've won 33.
On Sunday, May 22nd, all fans 14 and under will receive a Yankee wallet, compliments of Rite Aid.
Here at Yankee Stadium in the Bronx, the Yankees with Mike Stanley hitting one up the middle, driving into, take a 3-2 lead. Melido Perez, Dwayne, has struck out 4, walked just 1, the leadoff hitter Tinsley in this ball game, and he has since retired 10 in a row with a lot of help from Don Mattingly. A great play on Vaughn leading off the 4th. Billy Hatcher loops it to right field. Paul O'Neill's right there, 1 out in the 5th. Hatcher, Berryhill, and Rodriguez.
O'Neill was positioned perfectly, not too deep to right, and a couple steps toward the line, and Hatcher hit the ball right to him.
The switch hitter Damon Berryhill hitting 8th. Red Sox have just the 1 base hit of Melido Perez. Naring's double, which really was hit hard. 8 Boggs up, might have been charged in air to him. It was a tough scorer's decision. 1 strike to Berryhill. Forkball upstairs inside, and yet Berryhill well out in front. Not a good spot.
But the variation in speeds made that a good pitch for Perez, even though it was up and stayed up. You know, he used to get hurt last year when this pitch stayed up, but it was harder, and hitters were on it.
End of the bat, another splitter. Wade Boggs got a funny hop, too. Did you see that hop? I would guess that some of the infielders, Yankee infielders, might have a talk with the grounds crew.
See Wade well off the bag, and see that hop came up on him a little bit, and he actually gloved it up near the heel of the glove.
12 in a row set down by Perez now. Carlos Rodriguez with Boggs and Mattingly cheating in at the corners. Rodriguez hit the ball hard. Nice play in the second by Mike Gallego to the second baseman.
You know, we really didn't get a chance to see much of him when he was in the Yankee system, just that brief time he was up a couple of years ago. But he appears to be a pretty nice little infielder and got rid of the ball quickly on that double play.
Boy, did he. It looked like Ozzie Smith when he pivoted on the double play. That was to end the 3rd, and Mattingly hit into a 4-6-3. Well, Clete Boyer had him. Clete used to roam the minor leagues and always talked about his good hands, his accurate arm. He said if he gets a little stronger someday, he might be able to put the ball in play enough to be helpful to some major league team. Well, with John Valentin down, perhaps due for arthroscopy on the knee, he was called up. Now Buck Showalter out of the dugout. He's wondering what's going on. Did Melido hurt himself? What's going on?
Well, the scoreboard has 2-1. I think the count is 3-0, and they want to make sure that it's squared away here. Buck, I think, is under the impression the count is 2-1, and I think Mark Johnson indicated that it's 3-0, and that's the problem.
3 balls, no strikes. He just tries to register that fact with the people upstairs. 3-1 now to Rodriguez.
Rodriguez was hitting over 320 at Pawtucket in about 20-some games.
Fouled out of play. Count will go full with 2 down. Yankees leading it 3-2. Boston struck first, a walk, a double, an error. Came up with 2 runs in just that 1 base hit. Polonia walked, he scored in the first, and then Stanley in the 4th drove home Tardable O'Neill. Again, another error. This ball is hit deep. Is this baby out of here? Little Carlos Rodriguez ties it up on a 3-2 count. I paused because I wasn't going to believe it, but I believe it. This year, I believe it. Yeah, Clute's right. If he got a little stronger, he'd not only put the ball in play a little harder, but he hit one into the right field seats here at the stadium.
Not to take anything away from Rodriguez, but
he didn't have many in the minor leagues.
That's unbelievable. He did 2 at Pawtucket this year. Boy, oh boy.
So now it is Lee Tinsley with 2 down. Right down the middle, just trying to throw him a strike. So twice today, Rodriguez has hit the ball hard. This one he got the loft down. But I just hear the PA say that's his first major league home run. He hasn't had a whole lot of at-bats on the major league level. He's in there for D, and he parks one to tie it. 3-0 now to Lee Tinsley. Tinsley also struck out in the 3rd, that on a fastball. That home run broke the streak of 12 consecutive retired by Perez. Ball 4, speed on the bases.
Let's take another look. It's a 3-2 pitch. And Rodriguez gets the bat out in front and pulls it out of here.
The home run after 2 quick outs, Hatcher and Berryhill may have shocked Melido Perez, and he walks Tinsley, and that'll get a trip to the mound from Billy Connors. We are in a 3-3 ball game. Red Sox, before they were cooled down by Jimmy Key last night, the hottest team in baseball, come in today at 20 wins, 8 losses, sitting in first place. Baltimore and the Yankees tied for 2nd. Toronto 5.5 out, and then Detroit, who's starting to pick up the pace now, playing the Western Division ball clubs. They're starting to score some runs now. I don't know if that's a slider, but it's a high fly ball to short center. Bernie has got it. So Billy Connors' little talk gets him back in gear. He gets Naring, who had doubled, struck out. We'll go to the bottom of the 5th, 3-3 ball game.
Hold on. I don't just overnight the package.